The first thing that returned was sound, a hum, a clatter, distant shouts. My head buzzed as if it had been struck with a sack of sand. I opened my eyes. The world floated before me, blurred and too bright. I was sitting on the ground, leaning my back against a cold stone wall, and tightly, until my joints hurt, clutching that same book. "Hey, are you alive?" Someone's voice sounded very close, but I didn't manage to see who it was. A shadow flickered and disappeared. I tried to get up. My legs trembled. The carriage that had frightened me half to death had already vanished, leaving behind only a cloud of dust settling on my new sneakers. Around me there was neither that shop, nor the familiar street, nor the old watchmaker. Instead, simply a city, real, loud, and absolutely, to the shivers, foreign. The paving stones old, multicolored, as if laid out from a mosaic led between tall stone houses pressed against each other like mushrooms. From the walls hung crystal spheres in rock cages, resembling lanterns. They softly pulsed with light, even in daytime. Yes, pulsed evenly, deeply, as if in rhythm with the breathing of a huge creature. Above the roof started strange beings, translucent, winged, the size of a palm. I could swear I saw human silhouettes. Birds? Insects? Micro fairies at leisure? "Yes, Lena, calm down," I muttered to myself, feeling panic rise to my throat. Grandma was right. When they say wear a sun hat so the sun doesn't bake your head, you should listen. And now you have it. Hallucinations with a presence effect. Wonderful. Simply brilliant. I ran my hands through my hair, checking if it was in place, and pinched myself on the arm. Painful. Yes. Think logically. This is a festival, or a prank. Hidden camera? Yes, exactly. That guy in the hat with a feather is definitely an extra. And the spheres are expensive special effects. I must have stumbled into the filming of some fantasy blockbuster. Only why is no one shouting cut? I cautiously peeked out from behind the corner of the building and froze. Ahead opened a wide square, where a bazaar was raging, but not like our civilized ones. It was something between an Eastern bazaar and a medieval fair. The noise was so loud that my ears rang. There, in the thick crowd, I saw spice sellers dark-skinned, with eyes dark as night, dressed in bright tunics. They loudly shouted something, tossing handfuls of multicolored powder into the air, which smelled so sharply that my nose stung. Nearby, clinking metal, stood stocky blacksmiths in leather aprons. On their stalls gleamed not souvenirs, but real swords, daggers, and chainmail, at the sight of which I shuddered. A bit further, some stout woman, draped in cloaks down to her heels, velvet, woolen, with deep hoods, bargained with a thin old man. Between the rows, nearly knocking people over, barefoot children dashed about, playing tag. And by the fountain sat an old woman, laying out bundles of faded herbs, which even from here looked as if they glowed. I stepped back, hiding in the shadow. No, I won't go there. In my jeans and t-shirt, I would be like a white crow, or like a target. That crowd frightened me with its reality. These were not decorations. Here it smelled of life and sweat, iron, spices, and a foreign language. I went the other way, choosing quieter alleys. I pressed against the walls, avoiding lone passersby. In every corner something stirred. Shadows behaved as if alive. Suddenly I felt a gaze upon me. On a stone fence sat a huge ginger cat with a torn ear. He didn't run, didn't hiss. He simply looked at me, attentively, evaluatively, somehow too humanly. "Kitty, kitty," I called uncertainly. The cat slowly, with dignity, tilted his head, and then winked at me with his left eye, clearly and distinctly. After that he turned and disappeared behind the fence. "Oh, perfect," I whispered, stepping back. "Simply wonderful. Even cats mock here." Surely, I was swapped at birth, and I was meant to be born in an asylum. Maybe 30 minutes of wandering passed. The sun burned, my legs and sneakers buzzed from the nervous cobblestones, and my mouth was dry. Fear gradually gave way to banal fatigue and hunger. And then I felt it, the smell. Pies, hot, fried, with notes of meat, cinnamon, and something so delicious that my stomach plaintively growled, ignoring all the magic around. This smell led not to the noisy square, but into a small, cozy nook between houses. Without thinking, I followed the aroma and came upon a stall squeezed between two walls. It looked surprisingly peaceful, decorated with carved patterns in the shape of vines, with colored ribbons fluttering in the wind. Behind the counter stood a woman, and it immediately became clear she was not a simple dough seller. She radiated calm and greenery, like the forest after a storm, moss and fern. She was tall, stately. Her skin was light, slightly greenish, as if covered with a young patina. Her eyes the color of young leaves, large and slightly slanted. And her hair, so thick, dark green with emerald gleams, braided into a thick plait tied with a silver thread. She deftly wrapped pies in burdock leaves, handing them to the next customer, a short man with a red beard. When it was my turn, she raised her gaze. "Lost, little one?" she asked. Her voice was low, pleasant, like the sound of trees. She smiled with that special smile belonging to people who know more than they say. "You are here for the first time, I see. Your clothes, interesting. From the south?" "No, I coughed, trying to sound confident. Looking for an exit, or a station. Maybe here runs." "No, I coughed, trying to sound confident. Looking for an exit, or a station. Maybe here runs a minibus to reality, or at least to the center." She laughed, short and ringing, like a forest stream. "Minibus? Station? What strange words. You came from beyond the ridge, right?" "Beyond what?" I blinked, realizing I needed to lie more convincingly. Yes, exactly from there. I'm a tourist. Extreme tour survive without a map." Her gaze dropped lower and stopped on the book I was still clutching to my chest like a lifebuoy. Her brows rose in surprise. "Oh, serious baggage for a tourist. If you're looking for the academy, I can show the way. With such a burden, you definitely belong there." I looked down at the book. The leather cover seemed even warmer. The claw on the clasp dimly gleamed. "Academy," I slowly repeated. The word sounded reliable. Academy, that means people, knowledge, maybe a phone or the police. Yes, of course, the academy. That's exactly where I'm hurrying. Just got a bit lost. The woman slyly narrowed her eyes, but said nothing. Instead, she took from the tray a hot, golden pie and handed it to me. "First eat. My pies with game and herbs are the best in the lower city. You can't go gnaw the granite of science on an empty stomach." "How much do I owe?" I automatically asked, pulling a crumpled 20 hryvnia note from my jeans pocket with my free hand. She took the bill with 2 fingers, examined the portrait of Franco, sniffed the paper, and laughed again. "Nice picture, masterful work. Only our merchants don't eat paper. Hide it. Maybe you'll sell it to collectors." She shoved the pie into my hand. "Eat like that. 2 coppers on your account. You'll pay when you become a great sorceress. You wouldn't be an actress, would you?" I couldn't resist, biting off a piece. The taste was divine, juicy meat, spicy dough. I nearly moaned with pleasure. "Actress?" She propped her cheek with her hand, studying me. "We all play roles here, little one. Only I prefer the real ones. I am Nifia." She wiped her hands on her apron and pointed somewhere behind me. "Go along that path, between the lanterns. Don't turn anywhere, even if they call you. You'll see towers tall, black, spires scratching the clouds. That is the academy." I turned. Indeed, between the houses wound a narrow cobbled path leading upward. There in the distance, through the sunny haze, loomed the outlines of majestic towers. They looked gloomy but grand. "Thank you, Nifia," I said sincerely. "I'll repay." "Honestly, go already, tourist." She waved her hand. I took a deep breath, gripped the book tighter, and set off along the indicated path. The stones under my feet creaked. The lanterns swayed, as if seeing me off with their gazes. "Find the way," she says. I muttered under my breath, chewing the pie. I'd rather find the way home. The city around me buzzed, lived its incomprehensible life. And I, despite the absurdity of the situation, caught myself on a strange thought. Maybe it wasn't so frightening to get lost. Especially when you have quite a tasty pie and a mysterious book that seems to know more than I do.